Good evening and welcome to this regular board meeting of the St. Peter School Board. It is Monday, September 19th, 2022. We're here in the Governor's Room at St. Peter. My name is Drew Dixon. I'm the chair of the meeting tonight. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have a few members out today, but that is fine. We still have a quorum. We are just under the line, or just over the line. So thank you all for joining us here tonight. If we have an audience member who would like to speak to one of the items on our agenda, please let Sarah know, and we'll give you an opportunity to address the board. Let's take a look at our consent agenda. I'm sorry?
Adopt the agenda.
Oh, yes, first. Sorry. We need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right. The consent agenda items are here before us. We likely will take them all as one large group, all the way down to double V. So quite a few items tonight. If there is one item in particular we need to pull out and talk about specifically, we can do that.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
I would just mention that one of the reasons you see a large number is because of all of our staff coming on board with our going to self-operations for food service. And so many of the people that were working for us through Aviance are now our employees.
Very good. Any other discussion about any of the items? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We would normally receive some comments from the Student Council report and representatives. They aren't available to be with us here tonight, which is fine. So we will move on directly into our action items. So number one, we're considering approving the student representatives to the school board for the 22 and 23 school year. And Mrs. Engeldinger is here.
Yeah, I wish they were able to be with us tonight, but our two co-presidents of St. Peter High School Student Council are Najma Jamak and Eleanor Kennedy. As every other year, those student council kids are our busiest kids, so we're hoping with two of them that we'll have somebody here most months.
And I will gladly move that we accept those two students as student council representatives.
Second.
Very good. Any further discussion, comments? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to meeting them here soon enough. Action item number 2. Thank you, Mrs. Engeldinger. Yes,
Hello, everyone.
we're going to consider the approval of an agreement with the Nicollet County regarding a shared truancy liaison officer. Mrs. Engeldinger.
Yes, we have had a pretty long-standing relationship with the county for a probation truancy officer. This year, it's a little bit more intense with St. Peter High School. They have added an additional truancy officer that will cover the rest of Nicollet County, but because St. Peter partners with them financially, and because of some obviously bigger attendance issues that we had last year, we have our own truancy officer assigned to St. Peter schools. Obviously, most of that work is done at the high school, some at the middle school, and Rock Bend as well. But given the state of affairs with school attendance, that really ramped up during COVID. We expect this new officer to be quite busy. I can also talk about the fact, when I was the dean of students and then the assistant principal, a huge chunk of my time was taken up on truancy issues. And so this has really taken a lot off of the plates of some of our staff members too, which is much appreciated.
Yeah, very good.
What do you do with students in LeSueur County?
Oh, Mr. Kaut, that's an excellent question. Nicollet County is especially good to work with on attendance issues. And we struggle with kids who live across the river, figuring out how to manage that with LeSueur County.
Very good.
Which is a significant number of kids.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause so does LeSueur.
True.
I'll move that we approve the agreement with Nicollet County regarding the shared truancy officer.
I'll second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further questions, comments? Okay. Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you again.
Thank you again. Here we are. Action item number 3, the second reading of revisions to the policy manual. And we have,
I can tell you that the policy committee are a very dedicated group of folks that work through all of these policies. We have before you for the second reading, the 500s and 600s. They came to you last month, and at the policy committee, there were no reports of any further changes to these policies.
And I've heard nothing, so.
I know that it's it is a long process, very detailed work. It's very important work. I'm glad to see that we are aligning ourselves with some best practice that MSBA's send out for us to follow or align with as we choose. So yes, it's going to take us a long time to get around these, but it's
A lot of these changes are just, nothing really super substantial.
right.
But we did want to have, like, the numbers all match, and if we didn't have a policy, we wanted to make sure that they were covered, so.
Very good. I will accept a motion.
I move that we accept the policy changes that were required a second reading.
Second.
Any other comments, questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good, motion passes. Second reading revisions are approved. Item number 4.
More policy.
More policies, yes. This time, we're considering policies for a single reading due to immaterial changes, which means just grammatical, clerical in
Numbering.
numbering.
yeah.
Numbering.
Numbering is I think the only reason these are before you. Some of them are existing policies that we're just getting a new number to fit into the new system. This represents the last of the first readings as we went through the 700s, 800s, and 900s at our last meeting. So there you go.
Very good. It's good to see him.
It's all good.
Love it. Thank you, Kate, for your work on this.
Yes.
And you'll need a motion on this one as well.
We do.
I move that we approve the policy changes to single reading due to immaterial changes.
I'll second.
Very good. Any further discussion? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Very good. Motion passes. We have our first reading. A single reading.
They're in place now.
Yes. Item number 5, consider approval of an individual contract for our behavioral interventionist.
As this is a position that the board has discussed and approved at prior meetings. This is a position at South Elementary to help with some of our interventions for students who need a little bit more support. They're working on the positive side, the preventative side of behavior, and also helping students who might need some time to calm down, and some teaching some strategies to our classrooms. And so this person has been in place since the beginning of the year. It's an hourly position. The rate is $24 an hour for 169 duty days, 6.75 hours per day.
I move we approve the individual contract for the behavior interventionist.
I'll second.
Very good. We've had quite a few discussions about this role in committee meetings and meetings with our admin team. It's clear that in this post-COVID era, or even during the COVID era, it was some of our youngest learners had the most difficult time coming back into school, and that's where we had a lion's share of our behavioral issues, and just we need extra support. And so thinking was, well, it's probably not appropriate to just try to do the same thing over and over, hope for a different result. This is doing something different, getting another type of professional involved in hopes to make some headway and help out those youngest learners. So I think it's a great position, and I'm looking forward to see how things progress here this year. Any other questions or comments? All right, we have a motion on the floor, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Very good, motion passes. All right, item number 6. We're considering the approval of tenure for a probationary teacher. Am I looking at the right one? And this was for, there was some confusion because I think we had said school nurse in the past, and really, that wasn't totally appropriate.
Right. Well, a school nurse has a teacher's contract, and so they grant tenure just like they do with teachers. And so we apologize to Rachel Fitch for missing her with last month's tenure list, but are happy to grant her tenure as this is her 4th year, and so she will continue with a continuing contract.
Yeah, very good. So I will accept a motion.
I move to approve the tenure action for the probationary teacher/nurse.
And I'll second.
Okay, very good. Any comments, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Very good, motion passes. Item number 7.
Star of the evening.
Yes, consider the certification of the preliminary 2022 levy, and we have Tim Regner here to
Thank you.
meet with us.
We do every September meeting, we need to certify the preliminary levy. Basically what this does is it gets the whole process moving to get your tax statements, the amount on there. This year the levy was actually fairly straightforward for us. There's a lot of moving parts typically in there. There should be 3 pages in your packet that kind of outline things. The first page is just a letter that kind of outlines where the levy is at compared to last year. Basically, it's up about $67,000 or just less than 1%. Things didn't change a whole lot from last year. There was really three main components that changed a little bit that I tried to outline. We had, as we've talked before, we had the enrollment drop last year. So they do some recalculations then, because the levies, part of the levies are based on your amount of students. So they went and had what was a negative adjustment on that. The second thing that happened kind of goes along with page 3, is some of the levies are equalized, and what happens is it's basically a ratio between your enrollment and your property tax of your district. And if you look on page 3, the column AC, you can see it's the different values of the property values in St. Peter School District, and they had some significant increases between last year and this year, so we became a little more property wealth district, which went with, along with the enrollment drop, where we became less of a property, we're somewhat of a property poor district compared to a lot of them because of our smaller footprint. But with the rise in the values, we became less so. So some of the levy components are equalized, so we still get the same amount of revenue, say $1,000, only the percentage that goes to levy and aid adjust, so a little bit more goes to the levy this year, and that increase kind of offset the decrease in the enrollment drop. So they kind of balanced out. And then the third thing that changed, we upped a little bit the amount that goes into the reemployment levy for possible future needs. So page 2 summarizes a lot of the items, and as you can see, it's up about $67,000. With the preliminary levy, I think this was the 5th change that I had, in the last week, because there's all kinds of components for 300 or 400 schools, whatever. So there's minor adjustments. So typically 99% of the schools, I think, certify the maximum levy, which gives the ability that if something does change between now and December, that we can adjust with that. So I think that's what we've always done since I've been here, and I'm sure before that. We certify the maximum levy, and then if there are some small changes in between there, we can adjust when we come back in December and do our truth and taxation in those meetings. So I guess we went through this fairly much at length with the business committee earlier last week, I guess, and because that was kind of the consensus there. And I'll open up to if you have any questions for myself or Mr. Gronseth about the individual components or anything in it, but kind of the news right now is about a 1% increase for the year. I don't expect a whole lot will adjust this year unless there's something. A lot of times it's a small error in the calculations when they come out and it adjusts, $4,000 or $5,000 or something, but I don't see anything happening major between now and December. And otherwise, I ask that we probably do the maximum this year.
Tim, is it my understanding that if you don't do the max levy and something did change, you couldn't raise from what the preliminary levy is?
Correct. If we did like this number here, the 7183026, if we said that, then if something changed, we're limited to that. The maximum levy basically keeps our options open.
Gives you the flexibility, and then when the numbers are set in December,
Right.
you can always drop it if you.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you flexibility. Options is a good word for it.
And we have a past practice in doing that, just
Yep. And I think, what I see, I don't know if it's 99% of the school districts, but by far, pretty much everybody does it,
Absolutely.
so.
It's good business.
Yeah, I mean, something could change. You never know, and you want to have the flexibility to adjust if you need to.
sure.
I'll move that we levy the max.
Very good.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Very good. So with that, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
So that concludes our action items for tonight. But we do have some informational items that we'd like to discuss. First off, we have the first reading of revisions to the policy manual.
More policies.
More policies.
So I believe this was the last batch. And there were, as we got through all of the chapters, there were more policies left that did not have corresponding policies for MSBA. And so we went through each one to determine if these were things that were covered in some of our new policies, or if they're no longer needed for other reasons. And so, we have, let me correct myself, policy 412 is one that is being changed, and we had more than immaterial changes to make in that one, and so that one is there for a second reading. That long list of policies is our removals. So those are deletions. So those are policies that we would no longer have should they pass a second reading.
And
Anything to add?
I believe that a lot of these were ones that are handled in handbooks or other places within the structure and didn't necessarily fit in the policy
Right.
manual.
Another great part of this reworking and getting it all fit. It's just a lot of cleanup and appendages everywhere.
And this has gone very fast with all of these policies that we've done, but I just want to let everyone know that the work of the committees here is intense. We are very thorough. Superintendent Gronseth does a lot of groundwork with it, and we spend time with the policies in the committee. And we've opened them up for response and are not receiving anything, so.
Yep, it's great. Thank you for the work. Second informational item, something that we'd like to discuss publicly, just as awareness for the community, as much as of anything. Information item regarding fundraising plans by site for the 22 and 23 school year. We have a lot of activities and opportunities for students within the community, and there's lots of fundraising that happens. Sometimes door to door, sometimes mail in. There's lots of different flavors. We like to just give a heads up to the community to say, like, these are the things that you can expect to see. And if you're seeing something that doesn't fit with the description of these items that we're going to learn about, then maybe it's time to make a call or question. But just know that we are aware that these things happen, and they're fully approved by the board and the district at large. So, are we going to hear from our principals, or are we going to?
Yes.
Should we do that?
No.
Or should I just read them?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for the fundraisers?
Oh, no, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
I thought you meant the principal reports.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's, the superintendent will share with us, I think, right? No?
For the fundraisers, actually, I was just going to say pretty much
Sorry.
what you said. But you said it even better. So, yeah, we just ask that, people look over this list and have an awareness in this day and age when, scams are out there and they're real. If anyone has a question about whether something is an actual sale, you would only be hearing about these sales from families or from students or teams. There aren't any that companies are doing cold calls for us or anything like that. So most of ours are direct from student or teams to friends and neighbors.
Very good. I kind of, you know what, I'm just going to read them out loud, because if people are listening, I just want them to not have to dig.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're looking at South Elementary, I'll read the intended recipient of the the activity or the fundraiser and what the fundraiser is. So for the Media Center and classroom libraries, you could expect to see a Scholastic book fair. For building initiatives, we have the yearbook. For the Parent Council, we have box tops, food sales at Parent Council events. For the PBIS team, for Star Pride t-shirts and staff appreciation and book materials, we have the South Readathon. And the South Activity account is funded through, or augmented through the Family Fresh and Hy-Vee Receipt Redemption Program.
So save your receipts.
So save your receipts, please, yeah. At North, and if I get anything wrong, please correct me. At North, all year round, we have for the playground equipment, such as the basketballs and sidewalks, nets, that sort of thing. We have recycled the printer cartridge and cell phone. We also have box tops for education and various label redemptions. Also Family Fresh receipts, also Hy-Vee receipts. To increase and replace book selections within the homeroom teachers' classroom libraries, we have Club's Choice Fundraising. I'm trying to think what that is. Okay. The Media Center Books is a Scholastic Book Fair. The PBIS group at North, First Day School Supplies. For Angel Funds, we have Strawbridge yearbooks, my mistake. Again, for PBIS, for t-shirts for all students. There is a mathathon, and Student Council has the sticker machine. And John Graff in the middle school, sir. We have fruit sales for the band, a very popular one and well received. At the high school, for the band, there are fruit sales and Quick Trip card sales. For the choir, there's Quick Trip car wash and Quick Trip gas cards. FFA, often doing snack sticks sales. Farm to Field, it's a cool program. FFA Week, Farm to School Meal, that's what I was thinking of, sorry. The Easter egg yard hunts, fruit sales, classic car roll-in, greenhouse produce and plants, and the World Language Group, chocolate food sales, and online coffee sales. So I'm sure not an exhaustive list, but those are the kinds of things you can expect to see, and they're A-OK. Any other questions or comments?
That's excellent.
We're good. Off. So those are all of our informational items today, but we would like to hear from the building principals. And in the past, we've had a single representative meet with us, but now it looks like you're all clamoring to come join us.
We're doing shifts.
We have
3 and 3.
the A
They're
team
doing
and
it
the
in
B
shifts.
team.
This is great.
We prefer to think of the A team first.
A team,
Really?
yeah.
Plus
Well-
or the
Whoa.
JV.
Well, the
either
second
way.
team prefers to think of it as JV and varsity.
Perspective is everything.
However we can get the ball across the line is fine with me. All right. So thank you.
All right, so in early childhood, school's going well, we're off to a good start. We're certainly learning routines, and we've been taking advantage of the nice weather, so we're getting kids outside while we can, and so that's been great. We did have a parking lot, little bit of a revision, so that's made for some challenges with our drop-off pickup, but we're working through that day by day, and so far, so good. Right now, we have 140 preschoolers and about 20 infants we're serving in the program, and of course, as the year goes on, that number will grow. We do still have openings in our 3 to 5-year-old preschool classes, so if folks are interested in signing up, just give our office a call. Should I give the number? 507-934-4211, extension 1010. So give us a call, we'll get you signed up. We also have ECFE classes. Those are our 1 hour a day classes for children and their families or their parent. And those are starting next week. So Miss Monica and Miss Nancy and Miss Christie are working hard getting those ready to roll. Next week, we also have bus safety coming up. This is the time of the year when it's all things safety. And so we're starting with bus safety next week, so we're excited about that.
All right, and at South Elementary, we too are off to a fantastic start. Even the flow of the loop has kind of settled in. It was that first week, and And all of a sudden, it probably took us a few weeks to realize that, you know, we have parents who like to drive their students the first week of school, and we also had school-age care was not in session. So the next week it got better, and by last week, we were cooking with Crisco, I tell you. It was great. The Star Pride Assembly was held, our first one, and because of the kindness grant that we received, we really have incorporated that kindness piece into our pillars of the PBIS program. So in addition to safety, responsibility, and respect, we are now really focusing on kindness. So one of the things that I've been busy doing is going into each classroom, trying to learn the names of all the students, and I take a test before I'm allowed to exit the room, and I've passed so far, so just a couple more rooms to go. But reading the story, All Are Welcome here, and it's kind of a group read, and just really talking about the importance of each individual at school and how we really do need everyone in order to be a community. Last Monday night, we held our first organizational meeting for our parent council, and we had a wonderful crowd who's very excited to put together some projects to help support students and staff and families. Our primary focus is not fundraising. As you can see, we don't do a lot of that, but we do really look for opportunities to bring families into schools and to support the students and the staff. Our FAST assessments have all been completed, and this Friday will be our first professional development day. So our teachers will spend that time really digging into the data, talking about what strategies they need to put in place so that we can properly meet the needs of our students. Our paraprofessionals will spend the day first with Ayan Husay and with Julie Carlblum. They're coordinating the day. And the morning will be spent looking at trauma in students and really understanding the impact that has on our students, and what might look like misbehavior is oftentimes trauma, and what are some ways that we can, as caring adults, respond to some of those needs. And in the afternoon, they will talk about inclusive classrooms and special education disability categories. So, looking forward to our first full day of PD.
Very good. Well, greetings from North Elementary, everyone. North is also off to a wonderful start. I don't know if it's to the level of, what'd you say, cooking with Crisco?
Cooking with Crisco.
I don't know if it's that level, but baking with butter or something like that. I don't know. It's going well. At North, we have a annual tradition of putting out a little music video at the beginning of every year, and that's always fun. The number of students that watch that before they arrive that first day is unbelievable. You know, they like to point out like all the moves everybody did in each spot, and I did my part had me rolling into the parking lot, throwing my hat off with excitement outside of my vehicle, and walking into the building, and there's probably about 20 students that were just like bewildered, like, what happened to that hat? Like, where did that go? Did it litter? Did you litter it? But anyway, I mean, the whole point of those videos are just to see everybody's faces. It's like, did you pick that hat up? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The video. No, our PBS team they do a fabulous job, and the whole point of that is just so all the kids can see everybody's face before they get to the school, and hopefully the comfort level is that much higher. And of course, it's just fun to act goofy on a video. So at North, we have, I think we're on right 400 students. Third grade's the largest right now with 145 students. Yeah, like I said, we're off and rolling. Another item that the PBS team does a fabulous job at is they put out a monthly video called Saint Center. So they've been working on that. I mean, the first weeks of the school year are all about building a culture, building relationships, building routines with students. And so once we get to this Saint Center video, like students are recording, like how do we act in the cafeteria? How do we transition from one space to another? What's it look like to be a good friend on the playground? So I've noticed this last week and this week, teachers recording students, what it looks like in all these spaces, and then they'll put that together on the Saint Center video. And this year we're gonna have students anchor all the videos. So it looks like Sports Center, but it's Saint Center with students leading the charge. It's pretty cool. As Doreen mentioned, we're excited about digging into our screening data. So we've done all the FAST assessments this Friday. Teachers definitely want to get in there and see how students are performing in math and reading, and just like how they feel about themselves in school. So we're ready to dig in on that data. And when I visited all the classrooms at the beginning of the year, that first week of school, I had to share with all the students, this is the 26th first day for me in St. Peter Public Schools, and probably saw the coolest thing I've ever seen. This year we have a group of 38 third and fourth grade students that are on the kindness crew. They had to apply for this position last year, and their whole job, they made shirts this summer. They got some training on what it looks like to be kind on the playground and around the building. But when students rolled in on that first day of school, all the kindness crew kids were at every door and just like cheering and welcoming kids, walking second graders down to their classroom. It's the coolest thing to put students in leadership positions like that and see it go into action. And so I had to tell all the students that was by far my favorite thing in 26 years of St. Peter Public Schools. So thanks.
And we'll bring in the night crew.
Darren, so my question is, if there was a music video, there had to be some dancing. Were you dancing?
There may have been.
You don't want to give us a little,
No, you'll have to question that.
little preview of the dance?
Not responsible for
Well,
any of those dance moves.
It's funny, it should be here in the agenda.
I think that's a loose definition dancing. wouldn't
Loose
it?
definition of dance?
Yeah.
All right, the second,
I could probably cue it.
second string.
The second first
I'm
team.
not gonna say it.
The second first team.
At the middle school, we are also off to an amazing start. Students and teachers have adjusted well, and students are reporting that it feels normal, which is really, really good. One of our efforts this year is to make the middle school environment a little bit more welcoming in terms of the physical space. And if you have been in the middle school office or the conference room, Student Council over the summer donated some funds to get some signage, some branding. So we have a new SPMS logo in both the office and conference room, and a Saints logo in that conference room. So check it out if you haven't been in there. Next, National Speaker Corey Greenwood visited the middle school, also the high school, and for the community on September 14th. Delivered a message that was really surrounded around the idea of you matter and the choices you make matter. And the students really enjoyed that. It started off with kind of a rock concert, and a lot of our students were a little excited about that. Lastly here, Jason Tupence and Megan Gaber's 6th grade science class, you may have seen it on the website, were able to get some equipment from the San Diego Zoo, and they did a unit on telemetry. The unit was really about populations and endangered species, and they used the telemetry equipment that they would actually use in real science, where they tag wild animals, and they went out and found stuffed animals that had little tags in them. So pretty cool to be able to have that partnership there with the San Diego Zoo. And then lastly, on Friday, we're excited at the middle school to also dive into data. Our focus this year is to collect that data, but then also to respond to that data with some small grouping and individual supports.
Great. At the high school level, we will be applying for another Future Ready CTE grant. Those of you who were with us probably 4 years ago, remember these are state funds that are distributed to the various cooperatives, and so you can bet on them receiving at least a couple of ideas from St. Peter High School and possibly middle school as well. And those grants are for creative or innovative CTE partnerships with public or other school entities. So we're excited about that. That's always a high-priced, those are high-ticket items, so it's nice to get grants for those. Tomorrow, the League of Women Voters is putting on an event run by 3 of our senior ambassadors. Najma Jamak, Eleanor Kennedy, and Amelia Hildebrandt are the high school ambassadors. They will be putting on a Get Out the Vote event at the high school during Saints time, an event for the seniors, and then I think they're going to have tabling going on over the lunches. So that'll be a fun event. Kate Martins has been working with those girls, so we're looking forward to a great day. And in other big news, we're switching from the NFHS network to watch live online sporting events at either the football field or in the gym to a YouTube channel. So it's going to be free from now on for everybody, which is a nice treat. And homecoming is next week. Actually, we kick it off on Thursday with Pet Fest.
All right, in alternative programs, we've been busy already. We have done our Fast Bridge screening in reading and math as well, both at Rock Bend and Oshawa. Like the other schools, we'll be using Friday to really dig into that data and see where we need to meet our students to really make progress in learning this year. We do have some new scheduling both at Rock Bend and at Oshawa Learning Academy, just incorporating some elective offerings. We are very focused on core academics in those areas, but we wanted to bring in some more hands-on courses. So we are using some curriculum from MVed to do some hands-on like mechanics and engineering out at Oshawa, which is really exciting for our guys. And then at Rock Bend, we're using some online kind of hybrid type learning to expand their elective offerings. Like the middle school and the high school, we participated in the Corey Greenwood event. Our students bussed over from Rock Bend only. Really enjoyed the event. Also just had a blast with the rock concert portion. So the feedback was just really positive from the kids. And they're really excited. We received a grant and we're partnering with the library to do 3 events with Minnesota historian and retired teacher Arn Kind as part of their U.S. history curriculum. So they're excited about that. And our first presentation is this month. We're gearing up at Rock Bend for College and Career Month, which begins in October. So we've got the ASVAB scheduled, and we're also participating in the Tour of Manufacturing. So I feel like we've got a lot of things right away happening. And then we're also starting credit recovery earlier this year than we have before. So we've got just 2 courses starting out, a communications course and a geography course. So those families and students have received information. But there will be 3 additional sessions after this one, so hopefully we can get all those kids caught up that still have a few lingering credits out there. So thanks, it's been a great start.
Reports, thank you. So, an update from our superintendent of schools.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It has been very exciting this fall to be going out to the buildings and seeing all of the things the reasons we went into this. We're really diving into instruction. We're looking at continuous improvement cycles, and I think you can hear the excitement of things that are happening, and our goals feel like real goals, not around COVID, not around anything, but really good instruction and improving what we do all the time. A piece of that is this Friday, as was mentioned, we have our first professional development day. We have 2 such days this year. One is now in September, the other is in February. And we have typically had early release days. We had 1 each month, which are great 2-hour periods for us to do some housekeeping type of work. But we didn't really have any time with all of our staff to dig in deeply into our data or into a new strategy or a new initiative, and to have time to teach about it, to talk about it, to plan for how we're going to implement it. And these 2 days are really going to give us an opportunity that we're missing before. And then on our early release days, we can revisit what we were talking about on that deep dive day. And I think it's going to get us a little bit farther down the road with some things that we're trying to implement. So we're excited about those PD days. And then I wanted to talk about attendance as well. Principal Engeldinger had touched on it. And St. Peter Schools has typically had a very good attendance rate when we compare with other communities around the state. And in the past couple of years, we have had more absences. COVID was certainly a part of that. Part of it were the COVID protocols that said, anytime you had a sniffle, stay out until your sniffle's done. And I think, there's been some habits formed, perhaps, but we still do have to be careful with COVID as well. And if someone does test positive, they're out for 5 days. And so that will have a bit of an effect on our attendance. But since the beginning of the school year, I looked at all of our attendance data, and depending on which school, we are about the 93 to 95% range in our schools. So we have about 2,000 students. So 5% on any given day is about 100 students absent per day. And when you break it down that way, that's a lot of kids, 100 in a day. So I just wanted to mention a few things that research tells us about school attendance. So, absenteeism in the first month of school can predict poor attendance throughout the school year, and half the students who miss 2 to 4 days in September may miss up to a month of school based on that pattern. Over 8 million students in the US miss over a month of school each year. Poor attendance can influence whether children can read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade, or predict that they may have to repeat a school year. By 6th grade, if chronic absenteeism has continued, it becomes the leading indicator that a student is at risk of not graduating. Research also shows that missing 10% of the school year, or about 18 days in most school districts, negatively affects a student's academic performance. That's just 2 days a month, and that's known as chronic absence. We also have to report that to the state. So if folks are getting letters, it's because we are required to report that. When students improve their attendance rates, however, they improve their academic prospects and their chances for graduation. So it's never too late if that attendance is improving. And sometimes there are barriers to regular attendance at school, and we encourage families to reach out to our principals or our counselors or our social workers or our student liaisons so that we can help to remove some of those barriers. We are here to help. We want all children to be in school as much as possible, and it's hard to teach them when they're not here. So we just really want people to be engaged and to make sure that all of their students are coming to school every day. And that's all I have to say about that today.
Very good. Thank you. Board members around the table.
I do not have anything.
Okay, very good. Director Martin?
I'm just happy to be here.
Director Cow?
I have a couple things. The tours next week,
Yes,
do they start at 12 or 1? I got 2 different notices.
that's an excellent question. And I'm looking at Sarah, who's looking at her phone.
I think Sarah said 12 to 2:30, and yours said 1 to 3:30.
I didn't send one, so.
Well, I got a notice from you. An invitation I got from you. It's the 28th? 12 to 2:30. Okay.
That's what I have.
All right, I'll be there with bells on. Perfect. And the other thing is, Thursday night, I will be involved with a virtual advocacy tour with MSBA.
Oh, yeah.
So, see what's coming up with the legislature.
Good.
They have some questions in a survey, so do you have a little time after our meeting Wednesday? The Ed Foundation meeting?
Yes.
And I could talk to you for a few minutes, okay?
Yes, sir.
Or Thursday, that is. isn't it?
Oh,
I'll wait for you. I do have one thing. I know that we have, over the past couple of months, been shamelessly plugging for our free and reduced lunch forms, and I would like to thank everybody for submitting them. It has helped. Doesn't mean you can't still do it.
Yep.
Keep
Please
doing
do.
it. So, yep, it'd be great to get them in by October 1st, so you're not too late, and by all means, put them in, and those that have, thank you. That's all I got.
thank you, Director Lopez-Garrett. All right, for our upcoming meetings, the school board, we have a policy committee meeting, September 28th at 4 PM in the district office. We have a shared programs committee, September 29th at 4 PM at the city hall. Study session, October 3rd, in the middle school media center. And the joint city council school board meeting, which we all enjoy quite a lot, October 5th, in the governor's room right here. Education committee on October 11th at 1 PM in the district office. Business committee in the district office on the 12th. And our next scheduled regular board meeting is for October 17th, 6:30 right here in the governor's room. And with that, I would accept our favorite motion.
I move to adjourn, is that what you say?
And I second.
Very good. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.